Hello and welcome to the BRICS News. Are you ready to stay informed about the latest global developments, economic shifts and political strategies shaping the world? You're in the right place. Here at the BRICS News, we bring you in-depth analysis, breaking news and expert insights on everything happening within the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, and beyond. In today's video, we're diving into a major geopolitical event that's making headlines worldwide. From powerful economic alliances to political tensions and trade strategies, we break it all down, so you stay informed and ahead of the curve. If you love staying updated on international affairs, economic trends, and global politics, make sure to like this video to support independent journalism, share with others who need to stay informed, and subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest updates. The world is changing fast. Stay ahead with the BRICS News. Now let's dive into today's topic. Shocking U.S. Canada tensions. Trump's bold annexation claims and hockey rivalry. The political landscape between the U.S. and Canada has taken an unexpected turn. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has made explosive remarks suggesting that Canada should become the 51st state of the United States. His statements have sparked outrage among Canadian leaders and citizens, escalating tensions just ahead of the Four Nations Faceoff hockey championship between the two countries. In this video, we break down Trump's controversial statements and economic strategies, how Canada responded with patriotism and defiance, the political and economic implications of this unprecedented tension, and the dramatic final hockey showdown and Trudeau's fiery response. Watch till the end to find out how this political drama unfolded on and off the ice. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more breaking news and global updates. What do you think? Do you believe Trump's annexation claims were just political rhetoric, or is there a bigger strategy at play? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for more. Tensions between Canada and the United States have escalated sharply following President Donald Trump's provocative remarks challenging Canadian sovereignty and economic policies. In a series of statements, Trump has suggested annexing Canada as the 51st U.S. state, a notion that has been met with strong opposition from Canadian leaders and citizens. In the lead-up to the highly anticipated Four Nations Faceoff hockey championship between the United States and Canada, President Donald Trump intensified political tensions with a series of provocative remarks and direct interactions with Team USA. On the morning of the championship game, President Trump announced his intention to call the U.S. hockey team to motivate them before their match against Canada. He posted on Truth Social, "I'll be calling our great American hockey team this morning to spur them on towards victory tonight against Canada, which, with far lower taxes and much stronger security, will someday, maybe soon, become our cherished and very important 51st state." The situation intensified when White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt yesterday reiterated the administration's stance ahead of a highly anticipated hockey match between the two nations. Leavitt stated, "President Trump is committed to the vision of integrating Canada into the United States for economic and security benefits." This assertion came just before the US and Canadian teams faced off in the Four Nations Faceoff final. The championship game, held at Boston's TD Garden, became a focal point of national pride and political expression. Canadian singer Chantal Crevier-Zook altered the lyrics of OCanada during the opening ceremony, singing that only us command instead of the traditional in all of us command as a direct rebuke to Trump's annexation comments. The match concluded dramatically with Canada securing a 3-2 victory over the United States. The win was celebrated passionately by Canadian fans and players, serving as a symbolic reaffirmation of Canada's sovereignty amidst the political tensions. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has been at the forefront of rejecting President Trump's annexation proposals. Following Canada's victory over the United States in the Four Nations Faceoff hockey championship, Trudeau declared, "You can't take our country and you can't take our game." This statement underscored Canada's determination to maintain its sovereignty in the face of external pressures. Since December 2024, former US President Donald Trump has been making increasingly bold and controversial statements, suggesting that Canada should become the 51st state of the United States. These remarks, delivered through speeches, social media posts, and official statements, have sparked political tension between the two nations and have been firmly rejected by Canadian leaders. However, they have also fueled a wave of patriotism among Canadians, reaffirming their commitment to sovereignty. Trump's rhetoric on the issue began in early December when he first floated the idea during a private meeting with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau at Mar-a-Lago. In a move that raised eyebrows, Trump jokingly referred to Trudeau as Governor Justin Trudeau of the great state of Canada, a comment that many interpreted as an indication of his interest in incorporating Canada into the US. A few weeks later, on December 18th, Trump took to his social media platform, Truth Social, to post a message that fanned the flames of speculation. He wrote, "A lot of great people in Canada are telling me they'd love to be part of America. They're tired of the high taxes, the socialist government, and the terrible energy policies. If they joined the US, they'd finally have freedom and prosperity. It would be a win-win. #50 first state #make Canada great again." By January, Trump had escalated his remarks from offhand comments to a more structured narrative. During a press conference at Mar-a-Lago on January 7th, he addressed the issue directly, stating, "Look, we love Canada and Canada loves us. But right now they're paying way too much in taxes, their healthcare is failing, and they need strong leadership. We're not talking about military force, nobody wants that, but economic force, absolutely. We have incredible leverage." On January 20th, during his highly anticipated inaugural address for his second term, Trump further hinted at his expansionist vision for the US, stating, "This will be a term of greatness, a term of strength, and a term of expansion. We will make America bigger, stronger, and safer." While he did not mention Canada explicitly, the remark was widely interpreted as an extension of his previous statements. By February, Trump's campaign for annexation had transformed from social media musings into a full-scale political provocation. On February 1st, he signed an executive order imposing a 25% tariff on all Canadian goods, citing concerns over illegal immigration, the opioid crisis, and what he called massive economic unfairness. During a rally in Pennsylvania, he declared, "Why should we keep subsidizing Canada? They need us more than we need them. These tariffs will stay until we get a fair deal, or maybe until we get something even better." The move was met with sharp criticism from Canadian officials. Prime Minister Trudeau immediately denounced the tariffs, calling them an unacceptable act of economic aggression, and warned that Canada would respond in kind. Amid the growing tension, Trump appeared to soften his stance on February 3rd, after a direct conversation with Trudeau. The two leaders reportedly discussed the tariffs and their impact on trade, and Trump later announced that he was postponing the tariffs for 30 days. However, in a speech that same evening, he doubled down on his annexation remarks, saying, "Canada has a choice. They can keep fighting us, or they can join us. If they become the 51st state, there will be no tariffs, no trade issues, and no more nonsense. It would be a beautiful thing, folks." The issue took an unexpected turn on February 9th, when Trump was interviewed by Fox News just before the Super Bowl. When asked whether he was serious about making Canada part of the United States, he responded, "I'm absolutely serious. It makes perfect sense. Canada is basically America, just colder. The people love me there. We could work out a great deal for them, believe me." The controversy reached a new level on February 20th during the Four Nations Faceoff hockey championship between Canada and the United States. Just hours before the highly anticipated final game, Trump posted another message on Truth Social that reignited the debate. He wrote, "I'll be calling our great American hockey team this morning to spur them on towards victory tonight against Canada, which will someday, maybe soon, become our cherished and very important 51st state." Following Canada's thrilling 3-2 overtime victory against the United States in the Four Nations Faceoff hockey championship on February 20th, 2025, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau took to social media to assert Canada's sovereignty and pride. In a pointed message on X, formerly Twitter, he declared, "You can't take our country and you can't take our game." This comment triggered an immediate and furious reaction from Canadian leaders and sports fans alike. During the game's opening ceremony, Canadian singer Chantal Kreviazuk made a pointed protest by slightly altering the lyrics of OCanada to emphasize Canadian sovereignty. Instead of singing In All of Us Command, she changed the words to That Only Us Command, a subtle but deliberate rejection of Trump's annexation rhetoric. In response to Trump's repeated comments, Prime Minister Trudeau addressed the nation, firmly rejecting the idea of annexation. Let me be crystal clear. Canada is not for sale. We are not a state, we are a country, proud, free, and independent. No one will take that from us. Even opposition leaders, including Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre, who has been critical of Trudeau's leadership, took a strong stand against Trump's rhetoric. Poilievre stated, "Canada is a sovereign nation. My message to President Trump is simple. We are not the 51st state, and we never will be." Speaking in Brussels after meetings with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, Defense Minister Bill Blair addressed President Trump's annexation remarks. Blair described the comments as offensive and disrespectful, but expressed confidence in Canada's security posture. He stated, "I do not believe that represents a real threat to us." Blair emphasized Canada's preparedness to defend its sovereignty, noting, "We've assured all of our allies we're prepared to stand up for our country." He also highlighted the importance of unity and readiness in the face of such aggression, underscoring Canada's commitment to its national defense and alliances. Member of Parliament Charlie Angus offered a candid response to President Trump's suggestion of annexation. In an interview with CNN, Angus criticized Trump's characterization of Canada, stating, "I think the issue is that Donald Trump is claiming Canada is a narco state. The man's a liar." Angus dismissed the notion of Canada becoming a U.S. state, emphasizing the country's sovereignty and democratic values. He remarked, "Canada has something called democracy. It means the leader is accountable to Parliament and can be replaced." Angus further highlighted the differences in political culture between the two nations, asserting that convicted sexual abusers don't get to lead our nation. We're decent folk. His comments reflect a firm stance against any threats to Canada's independence and a commitment to upholding the nation's democratic principles. In the days following Trump's latest remarks, a surge of patriotism swept through Canada. Citizens began displaying the Canadian flag more proudly, with many taking to social media to emphasize their national identity. According to historians, this event marked one of the strongest displays of Canadian unity in recent memory, reinforcing the country's commitment to standing apart from its southern neighbor. Can you do us a favor? Let's take a quick pause. If you've enjoyed the video so far, could we ask a small favor? Hitting the like button helps us reach a broader audience, and sharing your thoughts or feedback in the comments makes an even bigger impact. Thank you for watching. Now let's dive back in. Let's dive. The economic ties between the United States and Canada represent one of the most significant and mutually beneficial trade relationships in the world. The two nations share the longest international land border and maintain an interconnected economy supported by a robust trade framework. According to the Office of the United States Trade Representative, USTR, the total bilateral trade in goods and services between the two countries reached approximately $1.2 trillion in 2024. Breaking it down further, U.S. exports to Canada totaled $49.49 billion, resulting in a U.S. goods trade deficit of $3.3 billion with Canada. However, this trade deficit is largely driven by energy imports, which are essential for the U.S. economy. Canada is the largest export market for the United States, absorbing nearly 18% of total U.S. global exports in 2024. Meanwhile, the U.S. is the destination for roughly 75% of Canada's total exports, underscoring the deep economic integration between the two countries. Unlike other U.S. trade relationships, which often include high levels of imports from China or Mexico, U.S.-Canada trade is more balanced and reciprocal, with both countries serving as each other's largest trading partner. The integration of North American markets has been strengthened by the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, or USMCA, which replaced NAFTA in 2020. The USMCA has facilitated smoother trade, ensured greater protections for industries such as auto manufacturing and dairy, and solidified energy trade regulations. Over 2 million US jobs depend on trade with Canada, making this economic relationship indispensable to the American workforce. Trade between the United States and Canada covers a broad range of industries, reflecting the highly diversified nature of the relationship. Some of the most significant sectors include energy, automotive, agriculture, metals and minerals, machinery and technology. One of the most crucial aspects of US-Canada trade is energy, with Canada being the largest foreign supplier of crude oil, natural gas, and electricity to the United States. In 2024, energy exports from Canada to the US were valued at approximately $180 billion, representing nearly 44% of total US energy imports. Canada supplies over 50% of all crude oil imported by the United States. US refiners, particularly in the Midwest, are highly dependent on Canadian oil, as their infrastructure is designed specifically for Canadian heavy crude. Canada is also the largest supplier of electricity to the US, providing significant cross-border power flows to states such as New York, Michigan, and Minnesota. Without Canadian energy imports, the United States would face significant energy shortages and price spikes, as alternative suppliers such as the Middle East or Venezuela would be unable to fill the gap efficiently. Experts predict that any major disruption in US-Canada energy trade could raise gasoline prices by as much as 30% and lead to economic instability in the North American energy sector. The automotive sector is another pillar of US-Canada trade, with auto parts and vehicle assembly deeply intertwined across the border. More than 75% of Canadian-built vehicles are exported to the United States, and approximately 60% of US-manufactured auto parts are shipped to Canadian factories for final assembly. The US and Canadian automotive industries function as a single unit. A single auto part can cross the US-Canada border up to 6 times before a vehicle is fully assembled. The Detroit-Windsor corridor is one of the most active automotive trade routes in the world, facilitating the movement of over 2.3 million vehicles per year. Top automakers, including Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis, rely on both US and Canadian manufacturing facilities for production efficiency. Trade disruptions in this sector, such as tariffs or border restrictions, would severely impact vehicle production costs and consumer prices in both countries. Analysts estimate that a 25% tariff on Canadian auto parts could result in an average price increase of $4,000 per vehicle in the US, affecting American consumers directly. The United States depends heavily on Canada for raw materials, including critical minerals used in defense, electronics, and heavy industry. In 2024, metals and minerals made up 11% of total US goods imports from Canada, with over $42 billion worth of mineral resources crossing the border. Some of the key materials supplied by Canada include aluminum and steel. The United States sources over 80% of its aluminum imports and 45% of its steel imports from Canada. Rare earth elements, essential for the production of semiconductors, batteries, and defense equipment, are also supplied by Canada. If tariffs or trade barriers were imposed on Canadian metals, US industries would face severe material shortages and increased production costs, directly impacting sectors such as aerospace, construction, and consumer electronics. The agricultural sector is another area of major interdependence. The United States exported $27 billion in agricultural goods to Canada in 2024, making it the largest market for American farmers. Key US exports include fresh produce, grains, beef, and processed foods. Canada, in turn, supplied the United States with $32 billion in agricultural products, including dairy, wheat, seafood, and livestock. The strong cross-border agricultural trade ensures food security and price stability in both countries. Any disruption to this trade flow would have direct consequences on grocery prices and food availability for American consumers. The economic ties between Canada and the United States are not just beneficial, they are essential. The United States is deeply reliant on Canadian imports in multiple critical sectors, including energy, manufacturing, metals, and agriculture. The two economies function as one of the most highly integrated trade partnerships in the world, and any disruptions, such as the tariffs proposed by the Trump administration, would have severe consequences for U.S. industries, workers, and consumers. With over 2 million American jobs directly linked to trade with Canada and billions of dollars in essential goods flowing between the two nations daily, it is clear that the United States cannot afford to jeopardize this relationship. While the U.S. economy is larger overall, its supply chains, energy security, and industrial base remain highly dependent on Canada, making this trade relationship indispensable to American economic stability. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching this video. We sincerely appreciate you joining us today. If our content resonated with you or sparked inspiration, please consider expressing your support by liking it and subscribing to stay connected with our community. Your support holds immense value for us.